today's episode, we're looking at the third level of entrepreneurial action, putting out into the deep. Hello friends, I'm Sean Kennedy, host and creator of Whatever the Heck That Means, and founder and president of Simbiotrek. Today, we are taking a deeper dive into one of the 5 entrepreneurial action levels that we looked at in a previous video. We're looking at level 3, putting out into the deep. What is this level about? Let's take a quick overview of it. This level is fundamentally about doing and learning. That is the heart of this level. And you will know that you have firmly crossed the blurry line that exists between level 2 and level 3 when you have paying customers who can articulate the value that you provide them. At this level, we want to OODA for VUCA to achieve our purpose. OODA being the Observe, Orient, Decide Act loop that comes to us from the US military and their experience dealing with a very VUCA world in field operations. VUCA being a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment. And that is exactly the environment in which we operate in our businesses every single day. So we want to OODA for VUCA to achieve our purpose of serving our customers and giving them value now and ever increasing value over time. In previous videos, we've also talked about the learning engine concept, the learning engine approach that we use at Simbiotrek to execute the projects we do with our clients, and that over time becomes the core operating model of their businesses. The learning engine is an expression of this OODA loop for a VUCA world too. Well, you may not always act at this level. Somebody in your company had better be doing that, or you risk becoming irrelevant and out of touch. So when we look at the traits or the characteristics or the key action items of this level, it's launching, learning, and listening. And launch can feel like a big word, but it doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be for you. In 21st century business, launch happens every time we do an A/B test. It happens with every effort to explain our value proposition to a prospective customer, and it happens with every sale. Listening and learning need to be core to what we do across the whole customer journey, from the marketing and sales process all the way through to the experience of value in the product, and hopefully the recurring relationship that is built because of the value and trust that we have founded that relationship on. If you don't have someone spending regular time at level 3, you'll fall behind and become irrelevant. We can see an example of this with Harley-Davidson. And there is a great video that you should absolutely check out after you've finished watching this one that will tell you more about this story. But in the early 80s, Harley-Davidson was feeling the pressure of foreign manufacturers bringing their motorcycles into the US, and they used politics to gain some protectionism around their heavy road bikes, their cruisers. And this allowed them to effectively ignore what was going on with their customers, with the market at large, what the competition was doing, and just focus on servicing better and better the core audience that only they could really serve in the United States because of the protectionism and the tariffs that were in place. And that worked for a while, maybe decades. It in fact worked great for them. But ultimately, those barriers were reduced. Even some of the foreign manufacturers started building here in the United States, and the market shifted and interest changed. And the brand that Harley-Davidson had built had now become something that the new riders were not interested in. So that even when Harley-Davidson introduced a product that was by all accounts a great product that should have been loved by this new customer that was existing in the motorbike world. It was a flop. People didn't want to buy it. People had been turned off because Harley-Davidson had ignored working at level 3 for too long, just resting on the sure foundation that they had, the artificial foundation. And your foundation doesn't have to be artificial. It could just be the circumstances of right now. But we live in a VUCA world, and things will change. And if you're not paying attention, you will be left behind. So here are some questions that you might ask yourself to find out whether you should be acting at level 3, maybe with more intention as the entrepreneur, as the owner of the business. Do I know my ideal customers? Like, do I really know them? Have I spoken to them? And are these really my ideal customers? Indeed, do these customers describe their experience of value with my product or service the way I would? And do they say they value the things that I intend to provide to them to value? Also, what did I learn this week about the value of my offering? And how has that affected the actions I plan to take next week? There are so many things to do at this level. Like I said, it is a constant, a never-ending level of action inside your business. Although you as the entrepreneur, you as the owner, may not yourself always be acting at this level, someone in your company had better be. But when you are really focused on this level, and certainly going beyond that, you need to make this part of how you operate, you may want to do some of these things. You may want to do what I call flywheel marketing. These are the type of marketing initiatives that compound on their value over time and that don't cost you a ton to do up front either or over time. It's mostly a little bit of time and creativity. And it's something that probably you can have people on your team who are familiar with the product come to engage with and become good at. This type of flywheel marketing includes content for your website and for social platforms. The social platforms themselves, the ones where your customers are hanging out, engaging on those platforms and being part of the conversation and community that exists there. Perhaps even creating your own community on those platforms are all strategies that you could follow in this flywheel marketing realm. And then email. Building up your own email list, controlling your ability to communicate to your customers. Social platforms can change and your fit may no longer be good for those platforms. But with an email list, you control it. And you can build an ongoing relationship, pushing to your customers valuable information that they care about into their inbox on a regular basis. The other thing that you may do at this level is to regularly OODA. Again, that's observe, orient, decide, and act, to do more of what's working, less of what's not, and to be able to experiment with new things with the confidence that you will wisely process the results of those experiments and decide whether this too is something that is working and you should do more of, or something that is not working and that you should stop. So, do you see yourself acting at level 3, putting out into the deep? If you have questions about this level or thoughts you want to share about it, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you think you need help building the beautiful business you've always imagined, of going from feeling behind, uncertain, and stuck doing what you have to do, to being on track, confident, and doing what you love to do, contact me through Simbiotrek.com. And until next time, go and make someone else's life a little bit better than it was.